Welcome to the Pluto Lounge, where we just chill. All right, welcome. And finally, we're about to do a tier list for Dragon Age. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but one of the reasons I decided to replay all of the Dragon Ages is because I wanted to experience all the companions fresh and also give some companions I hated in the past and give them a chance this time. So, we rocked it. And honestly, my perspective has changed so much over the years. So without further ado, let's just jump into this. All right, we start off with Alistair. Alistair, the bastard king. All right, to all of you women and some men that have your Alistair body pillow, you're gonna hate me for this, but Alistair is going to a D. All right, you gotta hear me out. All right. He left us, straight up. He left us, all right? We're about to fight the biggest battle for the fate of Ferelden, the country that he's trying to be king of. I mean, he eventually came around to want to be king, but still, he wants to be king of. He has a little temper tantrum and he just bounces, right? The hell with Ferelden. It could burn for all I care. He just bounced. Ooh. All right, Anders. Anders is tricky. So this person, actually, let me give my shout out to King Slaver or King Slave VR. Shout out to them for making this tier list. We have two Anders. I'm just going to combine them into one. One was in Dragon Age Awakening, which is the expansion of Dragon Age Origins. And in there, Anders was cool. He was like a more mature Alistair. He was like hella witty and just like a fun character. Like, that's cool. Right. And then in Dragon Age 2, he merged with a spirit called Justice. And there's two routes you can kind of go with that. You can make it like a split personality where one personality has control, then the other one could forcefully take control in certain situations. Right. But then also you could kind of have, not a lot of you are going to get this reference, but Star Trek Voyager. And you had Neelix and Tuvok. At one point, they merged and it created like a really cool personality of a blend between the two of them. The writer of Anders in Dragon Age 2, they did an interview and said that they modeled Anders off of their ex-boyfriend, but not just their ex-boyfriend, their abusive ex-boyfriend. And to me, that came off as really, really selfish because Anders as a character was already set. And yeah, he has some freedom to change it up a bit because he merged with Justice. However, the Anders from Awakening was just completely erased. And the Anders in Dragon Age 2 had very few redeeming qualities. Like, he would say some foul stuff. I just couldn't vibe with that. However, that Anders had one of the dopest moments I experienced in gaming. Like, the way he betrayed the party was like, spoiler alert, but it was amazing. That was dope. So for that, honestly, I still got to give him a C just because I really hate how he was written in Dragon Age 2. Aveline. Woo. All right, this is a tough one. It's a tough one because, all right, back in the day when Dragon Age 2 came out, like, Aveline, she was the homie. Like, I took her everywhere. Like, she was the homie. And then, some years went past. I ain't gonna tell you how many years, but some years went past and I replayed it recently and I could not stand her. Like, she was like the hyper judgmental type of anything and everyone. However, in her mind, she's just perfect. And if you do anything that slightly damages that image, she gets all upset at you. Dragon Age 2 is cool. Like, she has flaws. All the characters of Dragon Age 2 have flaws. The only thing is you get to rival them, right? And then you get to help them embrace those flaws or like at least admit to them. But with Aveline, it was different. When you call out her flaws, it almost comes off like a temper tantrum. And then she gets to beat the hell out of you in the most awkward fight scene I've seen in the game, period. I like no audio. Audio is important. But it was just lame. And that pissed me off, right? And then the fact that because of her own negligence as a captain of the guard, Hawk's mother got killed, straight up. Like, that's on Aveline, right? And then you get exposed to some other foul stuff that she would say or do, like with her guardsmen, the corruption that she would allow, like freaking rape and murder. I couldn't vibe with her. I just can't. Cullen. All right, once again, to all those women and some men with them Cullen body pillows, you're going to hate me for this. But I want to put him in a D. I'll give him C. In Inquisition, like the whole fighting against addiction to lyrium, I thought that was really cool. And however, it was just too much. Like, it's in Dragon Age Origins and it's Dragon Age 2. And I'm like, okay, it kind of makes sense, right? Then all of a sudden he's the commander of the Inquisition. I was like, all right, that's hella lame. And then like our first confrontation with Corypheus, he's like, all right, man, we're just dead. I'm like, what? It was like ready to give up. And I'm like, damn, like this is the commander of our army. To me, it felt like that should have never been his character. They should have introduced a new character. Like when you keep doing these huge cameos over and over again, it makes the world feel really, really small. I get it. As video game developers, sometimes we get really attached to voice actors because they do a phenomenal job. When you bring them in, everyone loves them. It's just fantastic. However, they can voice different characters, right? It doesn't have to voice this same character over and over again. So, anywho, Bethany. I mean, straight up, I'm just going to put her as a D. Carver. I could not stand his character the first times I've played Dragon Age 2. But when I played it recently, I thought his character was dope. Because like his interactions with Hawk really felt like siblings. The way they fight, the way they bicker, it was perfect. But then seeing him develop and become more mature, like once he finally figured out his own path. Because if you ever lived in the shadow of someone, it sucks. And it could keep you in this childish loop. But then he kind of stepped out and did his own thing and became his own man. And then his maturity just skyrocketed, and his dynamic with his brother changed quite a bit too. So that was very maturely written, and someone read it understanding the sibling dynamic. So Carver for me gets an A. Cassandra's the homie. Like, she's got her flaws, and that's fine. Everyone has flaws. But like, she was just the homie. Granted, the way she was introduced was a little weird. It was this animated movie with her starring it, and then she kills like a bunch of dragons. But it was like a dragon would fly up to her, and then she would jump on it and then kill it. And then the next one would kind of just fly up to that dragon and just she would jump over it, kill it. Then the next dragon's like, okay, it's my turn to die. Come kill me. And I was like, oh, it was hella lame. But anywho, she's known as the Dragon Slayer. But yeah, Cassandra, she's cool. I'm putting her in A. She's dope. Cole. Like, his character was like interesting. He could kind of read into people's minds so that when companions are talking with each other, we would learn a lot of secrets about those companions through what Cole would say. So it's like, for me, it was interesting. It's like, I don't know. I can't really put him in B because I didn't really like using him that much, to be honest. Because besides that, he was a bit bland. I give him the C. Dog. I mean, it's a dog. We got to give the dog to A, right? Yeah. Dorian. All right, Dorian, like, honestly, he's a tricky one because, man, I loved having Dorian. I would have him roll with us all the time because he had such good witty responses to situations and NPCs, and his dialogue with other companions was cool. The only thing is, he was our first window into this Tevinter. Like, Tevinter is like this crazy place that we just keep hearing about. Then all of a sudden we get Dorian, who's from there. But his personal story was just whack. Like, it focused on his sexuality, and there's far more interesting directions that could have gone. So I was like, I want to give him a B. I kind of want to put him in C. Yeah, I give him a B. Like, I did use him a lot, so he was cool. Fenris. All right, Fenris is the homie. His backstory was dope, and it was crazy. And then how you interact with them, I thought was really dope, and it plays on his backstory. So, I mean, for me, Fenris is the homie. He's just straight up. Iron Bull. Dragon Age Inquisition companions, it's tricky because you don't know who the hell they are. Like, half your team are not who they say they are. And with Iron Bull, he's a spy. He's been mentally conditioned to act a certain way. And then he tries to be like all things to all people. Like, he interacts with Solas in a way to provoke arguments so that Solas can win the argument and feel superior. Or he would be very goofy with Sarah, or he would be subservient with Vivienne. His personality was a chameleon based off of whoever he's interacting with. However, I thought his story was cool. His side quest felt cheap. Could have been fleshed out a bit more. So it's like, he was fun, but I'll give him a C. It was a C. Isabella. All right, Isabella's a homie. It's just frankly, she had a cool story. Like, her personal story ties into the main story, which I thought is dope. Those are always super impactful, leading up to like one of the dopest events in Dragon Age 2. Man, Dragon Age 2 was just dope. But Isabella, she's the homie. She's the road dog. She's A. All right, Josephine. Like, Josephine, she's just cool. She's just a cool character. She didn't really have any flaws or anything, and that's okay. Like, she didn't get that much exposure to show those flaws. I guess overworking is one thing. Ultimately, like, she was just cool. She was cute. So, I give her a B. Justice, honestly, to me, is forgettable. I think it was kind of cool with the spirit thing, but it didn't vibe with me. I'm just going to give him a D. All right, Leliana. Like, Leliana, she's cool, but like in Dragon Age Origins, she was hella weird. There ain't no if or ands or buts about it. She was weird as hell. She has a bit of overexposure, right? Because like she's in Dragon Age 2, Inquisition, and then she's also in a lot of the books, and then some of the comic books are even mentioned, and it's like, it's too much. They love her. I get it. But okay, anywho, she develops, and that's cool. And she had her own DLC, like all that stuff was dope. And in Dragon Age 2, her appearance was pretty dope too. And in Dragon Age Inquisition, although her appearance makes sense, it's like she's repeating the same development. It was redundant. So for her, I think if it was just Dragon Age Origins, I would put her in the B category. But Inquisition, kind of, I'll give her a B. Intermission. Thank you for watching the channel. If you do like it, please like and subscribe. It supports the channel and it gives me that little boost whenever I see the thumbs up or a subscriber. Bottom, Loghain. Loghain is one of the coolest companions that I've experienced in gaming, period. Like that plot twist where he's like the villain for most of the story, then becomes a companion, I thought was dope. It was kind of like, I kind of got to give him an S because I hated his guts, but the way that they changed him and then the way that he developed further in Inquisition, depending on your decisions, I just got to give him an S. Merrill, hella stubborn. She's hella stubborn, but you know, they all have flaws and that's cool. But I mean, it's kind of funny though, because her whole arc, her potentially falling to the demon and getting possessed, and it turned out to be like her tribe leader, elder, whatever, that got tempted and taken over by the demon. So I thought it was actually pretty cool. But I'm gonna be biased on Dragon Age 2 because it's difficult, right? Because Dragon Age Origins is your ragtag crew to go defeat the big bad. Then Dragon Age 2 was a lot different because your character spent 10 years with them. So they became like actual friends and have like a relationship that's just far deeper than any of the other games. And then Dragon Age Inquisition, all your companions are more like your subordinates. So it's very different. So the bias is huge. But Merrill, I got to give her an A too. Like she was cool. She was funny. She kind of had like the cutesy thing going on and how the other party members would interact with her, except Anders. That dude was foul. But anyway, but yeah. Okay, Morrigan, like how heavily her character tied into the main plot was just huge. And she was just a hella cool character. She was intelligent, she was sexy, she had it all. The romance stuff and like how her character developed as well, being used by her mother constantly, then all of a sudden having real friends. Like I thought that was dope. So Morrigan, she gets a nest. Nathan Howe is also really interesting because especially depending on your origin story, but your warden ends up killing this dude's father. And then having him be a companion in the next game, I thought that was really dope, really mature. I mean, besides that, to me, is a bit forgettable. So I kind of want to put him in C. You know, let's just put him in C. Blackwall, the fake warden. I just found him boring. Like straight up, I found him hella boring. And his plot twist was really interesting, his little side quest. However, it felt like it didn't go full circle. Like I felt like we never got that real resolution of his character. And in Trespasser, you kind of see him getting there, but that all that happens off screen, so it feels a little cheap. So to me, I give him a D. Oh, we have a different Leliana. All right, so this Leliana, so this is Dragon Age Origins Leliana. I'll put that as a B. This Leliana, I mean, she's kind of dope because she's like this dope spy master and all this stuff, but it's just the repeated development. I gotta go with the D. It's like, I just didn't find it interesting. I think it was a really good opportunity to add a new character. Solas is dope. He's one of the best written characters I've experienced. Like the way he interacts with other companions, how that ties into who he is and the overarching plot. And man, like his chess match that he had with Iron Bull was dope. Like, you know, just because that chess match, I'm going to bump up Iron Bull to a B and I'm going to put Solas as an S. Woo! Vivienne, some of y'all gonna hate me for this, but Vivienne, you're getting an A because this is gonna be controversial because Vivienne was, man, she was dope, man. She had like such snarky responses. Like she had so much wit, so mature. And then like she told a different point of view of the mage conflict. All right, Sarah. Ooh, Sarah. She's a hard one. She is a hard one because all of her companions are Inquisition are incredibly mature. I guess except for Blackwall. But Sarah breaks that up, right? Like she comes in with all this youthful energy. Honestly, I was gonna put her in B, but then trespasser. Like she did this prank, and that prank was more like an assault. That's not a prank. Like a prank doesn't harm people. For me, she gets a C. I think that's fair because she has some funny lines and some of her reactions and stuff. It was funny. And speaking of funny, Shale. Like Shale had her moments, and it was, she's getting B. Bag it. Like she's dope, and she gets to Hulk smash people. Who doesn't love that? Man, I don't even remember the name. Like she was like that Legion girl. I'm indifferent about it. I was gonna put her in F, but I'll give her a D. Sten. His first appearance is racist as hell. Before the Cunari's appearance was retcons, it was a black dude with cornrows. I mean, granted, they're gray, white, cornrows, whatever, but a black dude with cornrows, right? And your first appearance is he's in prison. He's in prison for having a fit of rage and killing a family because he lost his sword. Just your typical black dude in prison, angry black man, fit of rage, racist as hell. And then you have the choice to just leave him in prison so that, the Horde of Darkspawn will just kill him. Just straight up, it was foul. However, after that, Sten is actually a really cool character because he's basically modeled after Worf from Star Trek, but not so much the Star Trek The Next Generation where he's just there to showcase how powerful the enemy is. It's more Deep Space Nine Worf where he's like really stoic, really strong, powerful, like badass fighter, but also hilariously funny as a straight man. And they did a good job with Sten with that because, man, he became my homie. Like I took him everywhere. Like my most recent playthrough, I took him everywhere because he's like the type of person, he'll be straight up with you. He doesn't beat around a bush. If he doesn't agree with you, he's just going to outright and say it. You know what I mean? And I love people like that. But just how racist his introduction was, I'm going to drop him down to an A. And honestly, that's respectable. Okay, so Tallis, a little bit of backstory. There's this lady named Felicia Day, and then she made like a really cool YouTube series. I was like live action role play of Dragon Age. She created her own character, and like that was dope. And then BioWare brought her in and be like, all right, we're going to make her character a real character in Dragon Age 2. That's dope. But then they let her write it. And it's an incredible self-insert. Like she's introduced and then like right off the bat, she's like killing 20 dudes while flipping around and then killing a guy right in front of the camera while winking at it. I'm like, really? And then gonna have the audacity to freaking later on be like, oh, I hate killing because like tried to write the character, give it a little bit more complexity. I was like, no, it was just awful. And then all of your companions just instantly love her. And the thing that really irritated me the most is that throughout the game, you control Hawk. Your Hawk is your Hawk. However, in that DLC, your Hawk becomes Felicia Day's Hawk, like how she wants your Hawk to react to the situation. So for me, I just give her character F. I just don't think it was well done. Varric, they brought him back in Inquisition. And honestly, how they brought him back in Inquisition made a lot of sense. Like, perfect. I'm hoping he has a very, very small role in Dragon Age 4. Like, he's doing all the trailer stuff, so I know he's in it. But please don't give him a big role. Especially how Dragon Age Inquisition ended. But that's a tale for another day. Anywho, it's like Inquisition, I thought he was cool in Inquisition. Like, how he interacts with the other companions is most interesting. We already know all of his backstory from Dragon Age 2, so it's like not like he dropped anything compelling, but it's like he's just a cool character, right? He's just fun. Now Varric from Dragon Age 2, he gets an S because Dragon Age 2 Varric is just, he was just your homie. Like the way he tied into the story, the moments he had with Hawk, like everything about interacting with him was fun. Like having a best friend character is typically kind of hard to do, but they did it really well with Varric, and it just worked. All right, Vellana. Honestly, like, to me, she was forgettable. Like, it was kind of interesting that she had like the hate for humans and she was searching for her sister, but it became like quite one note. Granted, she did have a little bit of development, which is okay. Kind of tempted to put her in a C, but I think D is fine. I think she's just completely forgettable. All right, Wynn. Wynn is cool. Like, she was mature for the group. But I mean, she's just all right. Like I think there's a book and she featured in, and that was really cool. But I mean, besides that, she had a little freaky side when she was flirting with Alistair and all that. But it was kind of just an instance, and we didn't get to see more of that in her character. So like, frankly, she was just a bit bland. So I want to put her in D, but she was a dope healer, so I'll give her a C. Zevi, the assassin. All right, Zevri was cool. Zevri was a homie. Like, he was different for sure, but like, he was cool. The fact that you can miss him, I thought was really cool. And then also, depending on your actions, he could really develop or he could even betray you. And honestly, that is Origins in a nutshell. Like, it's perfect for that universe. So, I mean, I think he was the perfect companion for Origins. All right, that is my tier list. I know mine is a little controversial. We got Loghain as an S. We got Carver and Vivienne as an A. We even have Alistair as a D. Like, we got some controversial takes. So I'm curious to hear what you think. If you disagree or agree, tell me why in the comments. And yeah, hope you enjoy it. And have a great day. We out.